you would like to introduce yourself before se volete presentarvi prima di fare domande, poi chi vuole partire per primo, andiamo in senso orario.
Okay. I'm Alex. I write for player.it, which is an online newspaper about video games, board games, and board games.
Your question.
I thought we would
Just. Would you like to do? I am Alex, and so we can drink. If you have something to ask, we go around and one after all.
Okay, so I was curious about the fact that in the new edition, the picture are now not pictures, but actually they are drawings.
Sure, they're photographs.
They are photographs. So is this, what is the reason behind this choice, and is this related with a possible idea of mixing the game with LARPs or stuff like this?
It's a good question. So, the idea behind it is...
Possiamo chiudere, grazie, perché sennò ma chiudiamo, perché sennò è un passaggio.
Sorry.
Okay, so it's a very good question. The idea behind the photography is not related to LARP. The idea is that we wanted to show, for the core book, we wanted to imagine vampires as they really might exist. We wanted to be as realistic as possible. And we decided the best way to do that is with photography, to make photographic portraits of vampires that we could believe are real. So future books will not always have only photographs. We will see illustration, we will see digital art, we will see concept art, we will see photography, mixing of different types of graphic design. But for the core book, for the heart of the game, we want it to be as realistic as possible, so that when you see the photos in the book, you can believe the vampires are real. So, but not related to LARP.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to translate it for the record?
Yeah.
Okay. La domanda era se la scelta editoriale grafica fatta per il manuale fosse condizionata, derivante o in qualche modo avesse una linea di congiunzione con il gioco di ruolo dal vivo. Questa linea il signor Carr sostiene non esserci, perché l'intento era quello di fare una produzione che rispecchiasse quanto più possibile la verosimiglianza di un vampiro all'interno del manuale, cioè andando ad aprire il manuale e sfogliandolo tu non ti trovassi di fronte a un'idealizzazione di un vampiro, ma effettivamente l'immagine di come sarebbe nella verità, nella realtà. E quindi è stato fatto tutto un lavoro, questo lo aggiungo io, non l'ha detto perché l'abbiamo visto ieri, tutto un lavoro di grafica molto interessante su vetro, insomma c'è proprio tutta un interessante lavoro che è stato fatto proprio per rendere questa verosimiglianza, in modo tale che fossero veri quando li vedi, ti potessi come dire, immaginare nella realtà quei vampiri.
Okay, I trust you. I don't know what it's could be anything.
Of course.
Wow.
Allora, ciao, sono Francesco di Gioco Nomicon, quindi scriviamo di giochi 360 gradi,
Sure.
insomma,
I know your
giochi
magazine,
tavolo, giochi di ruolo, eccetera. No, la mia domanda, volevo chiederti se riprendevate tutto il World of Darkness o solamente vampiri.
Okay. He's asking if in the future will be all the World of Darkness or just Vampire.
Okay, so not just Vampire. We are working now on Werewolf for the 5th edition, and we are thinking ahead to all the rest of the World of Darkness. I cannot promise you that each game will happen. You know, I don't know about Mummy or Orpheus or Demon, some of the smaller lines, but for at least the largest ones, Vampire, Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, Yes, that's the plan.
Okay.
They asked me to translate, but they understand.
Thank you so much.
La risposta alla domanda era molto semplice, sì, verrà fatto tutto il mondo di Tenebra, ovviamente sì, senza grosse promesse, i grandi nomi verranno trattati, Werewolf è già in lavorazione, ce ne raccontavo giusto appunto ieri, le altre vedremo, insomma, succederà.
Yes. Well, I'll do that in English as well. And are you going to translate also the mage and changeling and werewolf, or?
It's not a press of mine.
Ooh.
Are you asking to me or asking to me?
Yeah.
That's the answer. Scusatemi, la domanda è stata se tradurremo anche il resto, ovviamente, come dire, conoscete Neil Games e sapete che se questo accadrà lo sentirete col botto. Più meno polite dell'altro.
Okay. I'm Alessio.
Alessio.
I'm a media partner. I own a Facebook page, a community of RPG player named Sex, Drugs and Indie.
Sex, Drugs and Indie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another one, Newborn Rock and Roll.
Newborn Rock and Roll.
Newborn Rock and Roll, yeah. My question, I'd prefer to take in Italian because it's a little complicated. In quinta edizione di Vampiri si è aggiornato ai giorni nostri, quindi c'è stato un salto di timeline. È emerso il tema della tecnologia rispetto ad altri, che è qualcosa che giocando negli anni 90 e prima è sempre stato un po' sullo sfondo. Come a livello di design hanno pensato di implementare questa cosa dalla prospettiva dei vampiri ultracentenari e, al di là del discorso degli anziani, che sappiamo è stato gestito in un certo modo, come il tema di essere vampiro in un mondo tecnologico pensa sia stato importante nella definizione di game design.
Okay, he's asking the fifth
Take your
edition.
time.
It's quite complicated.
Okay.
Question, but it's very interesting.
Well, maybe
I try to
maybe
translate
I have a
myself.
complicated answer.
The
We'll
question
see.
is about technology
Yes.
in the fifth edition
Mhm.
and the relation between technology and young vampire and ancient vampire,
Mm.
especially with this, the one with 1, 2, 3 century
Yeah.
action, and the development of this thinking, of these mechanics. We would be a mechanic about that, or it just setting, and if there's just setting, where we are going.
Where
about
we are
that.
going with that. Okay, it's a complex question.
Correct.
Did I get that
Quite
right?
correct. I may add a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
More interesting, I'm thinking about gamer design perspective,
Yes.
because we know that as technology progresses, we have new ways. Humans, may have a new way to deal with vampire, or
Yes.
vampires themselves may be more at risk. So, how to manage a society, and how old immortal vampire who didn't ever had to face these threats
Yes.
may cope
Maybe.
with that risks. And in a game developer perspective, how did you answer this problem yourself as a
Okay,
designer?
that's a really complex question. So I'll do my best here to be able to give
Avanti.
a good answer.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Ok, avanti.
Scusa, ci sono i
Alex.
ragazzi che dicono che devono venire qui.
Loro due sono presi.
Ok,
Va.
abbiamo già iniziato. Se volete unitevi pure, ci mancherebbe.
Chiedo.
Possiamo avere altre 2 sedie, è possibile.
ora.
Grazie mille, molto gentile.
Bisogna sapere finito.
Grazie.
Ciao Alex.
Grazie.
Ciao a tutti.
So, in answer to the mechanics question, what you will see in future books will be some rule systems and help for the storyteller in providing structure for this question. How to give advantage to young vampires that use technology, and how to penalize elder vampires who do not use technology. Because of course, because it makes a big difference. I think the important thing to remember is that the ancient vampires, it's not that they cannot use technology. It's that in the Camarilla they have decided not to, because they feel the Inquisition is so dangerous that they choose to avoid it. They know the government is listening to our phones. They know that Google is listening to everything that we do. Yeah, that Microsoft and Amazon hear us through Alexa and Google. So they choose to stay away, and they return to older methods of communication. They write letters. They send messengers. They send animals. They use magic. They use secret techniques that spies use. Think about how spies used to conduct communications during the wars. Every century has different communication methods that are secret. And so the elder vampires go back to those methods. At the same time, the young obviously have an advantage because they can communicate more quickly, they can coordinate, and they can share information. So the young will ignore the danger of the Inquisition. There are two books for later this year from our partners at Modifius. One is the Player's Guide, and that will give information about the game structure of how this works. And the other book is the Inquisition book. And the Inquisition book will tell you how the government uses technology to hunt for vampires. Does that help?
Really?
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
We are Martina and Mirko from Their Dream.
Yeah.
We are.
Traduzione.
Just.
Sì, sì, no, prima.
Ok.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We are an online site who's doing reviews.
Okay.
Reviews about games, video games, and now GDR. So, what we want to ask you is, in the latest manuals of Vampire,
Yes.
there has been a clan book with
Yes.
all the information. Now that there are so much changes about the vampires and all the clans, not only about the storyline, but also about the technicality in the gameplay. There will be another clan book. There will be this adjustment of the informations.
If I understand your question, are you asking if there will be clan books, Bruja book, Malkavian book?
Something like
Toreador
that.
book?
Yes, something
Okay.
like that.
So right now that is not planned.
Okay.
But the player's book that we do plan will have a lot of that information that the clan books normally have, but all in one book.
Only one book.
All in one book.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I translate both traduco entrambe le risposte alle domande che sono state poste. Rispondo a quest'ultima che è un po' più semplice, quindi se ci saranno dei clan book in futuro o materiale come li abbiamo visti in passato che vadano un po' più nel dettaglio rispetto al singolo clan, visti i cambiamenti fatti. Questa è la domanda e la risposta è stata: non è in programma quel genere di lavoro, ma il manuale del giocatore, traduzione ovviamente provvisoria, racchiuderà un concept del genere, cioè un lavoro del genere dove andare ad approfondire aspetti che si potranno trovare all'interno del manuale, tutti però in un manuale unico, quindi un solo prodotto in questo senso. La risposta alla domanda di prima rispetto allo spauracchio della tecnologia nei confronti della Camarilla, nello specifico, come risposto, e quindi la sua meccanica in senso di sviluppo di gioco era più incentrata, mi permetto di parafrasare, più incentrata nei termini di narrazione, quindi non è che un anziano non sappia o non possa utilizzare una tecnologia, quello è il cuore un po' del discorso, ma semplicemente capisce quant'è importante il pericolo che l'utilizzo della tecnologia comporti, mentre il giovane non se ne cura. Questo si vedrà maggiormente in dettaglio proprio nel Player's Handbook, come ce l'ho anticipato in questa conferenza, ma soprattutto darà, ecco perché l'ho chiamato uno strumento narrativo, perché sarà in mano al narratore, perché ci sarà un manuale che sarà tutto tutto quanto sull'Inquisizione, quindi spiegare esattamente, a quel punto credo proprio nel dettaglio tecnico, come utilizzare la tecnologia nella struttura del gioco.
Okay, I am Valentino from Bad Games. I want to do in Italian because I want to ask something particular. So,
Sì.
Vampiri è stato accompagnato da delle varie polemiche, storie di cui non voglio parlare, ma quello che vorrei sapere è come si riesce ad essere da una parte fedeli alla propria linea, al proprio prodotto, e dall'altra non essere bruschi con la community fra chi magari va fuori dai canoni e chi magari ha un bisogno reale e quindi fa delle richieste particolari. Ecco.
Okay. He's not asking about rumors around the first publication, first rumors about the publishing, but something like that. He asking, how could you be in relation with your past? So the emotion, the theme in the game, and don't be rude with your community. Don't be in contrast with your community.
I don't understand the question.
He asking about in the early past. In the near past, we have a lot of problems about the publication in Vampire. In that case, how you could be yourself and not be rude?
Not be rude.
May I?
Yeah.
Still don't understand.
I think
try not to.
I think it's referring to in the early publication of the Vampire Handbook. Some fans badmouthed it because some of the contents.
Yeah.
And that was a really hot situation because some of their point of view were actually trying to make a constructive critic to the developer.
Yes, of course.
Some other just reverse their rage towards again developer. So the question, I think, maybe how do you deal with these fans trying to listen to someone who has critics that will help you as a game developer, and others who just had to be
Just mean.
Not that
managed?
And,
And how can you answer to them? Being
that's the point.
faithful to your game
Yes.
in the first place.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand your question, so I'll try to answer.
Okay.
It's not really doesn't make sense to me, but because what you were talking about is a matter. I can't tell if you're asking a question about company policy or about community management.
Yeah,
or,
more
emotion.
community. How do you deal with them? I mean, what's the trick to do this the right way? You know, if I
Okay.
okay.
That makes sense. The so I think the important thing to remember is that White Wolf is now part of Paradox Interactive. So now we are fully integrated into the Paradox company. And Paradox has a really strong community management program. We hire community representatives, community managers, community ambassadors, and their job is to go out into the community and discuss problems and concerns and then bring them back to White Wolf and Paradox. So that's one of the ways that we are trying to deal with this in the appropriate way. It's also important to remember too that it is very difficult to write today about topics that are controversial and satisfy every opinion. And sometimes we are going to make a mistake. And when you make that mistake, the important thing is to listen very carefully to your community, think about the constructive criticism, and then make changes if it's good, if it's a good policy. So that is what we are now trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
First, can I charge my battery?
Well, okay.
Second question.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Vampire and World of Darkness world, like since 17 years. So the only question Ok, la dico in italiano.
Sì. È una cosa, siate diretti.
Ok,
Tanto
sì,
parlando
è
tutto,
semplicissimo.
questo.
Sviluppando questa nuova linea, questa nuova ambientazione, qual è stata, dovendo sacrificare alcuni pezzi di storia ovviamente, che siano clan, anziani, cose, qual è stata la cosa a cui magari gli è dispiaciuto di più tralasciare? Magari qualcosa a cui erano affezionati ai tempi di Masquerade, eccetera.
Ok.
Qualcosa che non c'è più.
Okay. Developing a new one line of product, so
Yes.
new history, new plans, and new detail, which is the you have some difficult to put aside something from the past, from the past story, from the past history of storyline, plotline, meta plot of Masquerade. You have problem issue with something or
It's not a question yet.
no. He asking when you're doing the meta plot
Yeah.
here, you have to choose something that rests and something to change or something to leave
Yes.
out.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, doing this, there's some topics that are hurtful to leave out from the meta plot.
Like what?
From the past, like some clans,
some
some
ancients, some characters.
Okay.
NPC, something like
NPCs. So I think it's important to remember that just because they are not in the book you have read does not mean that they are gone.
Okay.
So, okay, we don't write about the Ravnos yet. But the Ravnos are not gone.
Oh,
Okay.
I've been with Vampire the Masquerade since 1991, the very first edition, the very first publication. I joined the first Camarilla in the world, the first Camarilla live in Seattle. So what's that, 28 years. So there have been 5 editions of Vampire. And there are changes in every edition. And so if you have not played all the editions, sometimes it is easy to forget that things changed a lot in some editions. The way we look at the Sabbat changes completely through 5 editions of Vampire. The way we look at Tremere and Blood Magic, big changes. The way we look at Anarchs changes. The other thing to remember is important. It is the world of darkness is the world of the unreliable narrator. Just because you read it in a book does not make it true. When you read Clan Book Bruja, it says, hey, this is the truth.
Yeah.
When you read Clan Book Venture, it says, no, this is the truth. We do this deliberately. That is intentional. That is part of the game design. But you will not always be able to know exactly the truth at any one time. It's always from the point of view of whoever you are reading from. So, as far as things that are missing, they're only missing temporarily. And just because we say, well, Giovanni are in hurts and they are having a problem, it doesn't mean they're gone. So in the player's guide that I talked about, the new product, you'll see some of the clans that are not in the core book.
okay.
In Chicago by night, of course, we have Le Sombre, and that's where we see them. In the book of the Blood Cults, we see all the necromancy clans. We see the Giovanni, we see Cappadocian, we see the Lamia, we see the Samedi. So everything is not necessarily gone.
Okay.
But you may have to be patient.
It's not a problem.
And those clans may change from what you know because of the meta plot.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's happens much.
May I? Thank you very much.
Remember the unreliable narrator. Just because Theo Bell says it's true does not mean it's true.
Traduco le ultime 2 domande, come prima le faccio al contrario. Più fresca nella memoria, più semplice. Cercherò di anche in questo caso di condensare un pochettino i concetti. Molto semplicemente il metaplot è andato avanti e siccome sapevo la risposta era quella, il motivo per cui sono un po' impappinato sulla domanda, il metaplot è andato avanti e semplicemente non è ancora stato rivelato tutto quanto, cioè ci sono ancora un sacco di cose che arriveranno, per cui non è stato tolto nulla semplicemente è nascosto ancora ai nostri occhi di profani perché è stato sviluppato tutto quanto, quindi piano piano andremo a vedere tutti i punti. Il punto chiave di questo modo di scrivere, che è volontario, è scelto da parte degli autori, è che non c'è la verità assoluta nel manuale. Il manuale non è la verità assoluta, ogni manuale è la sua verità parziale e l'insieme è lasciato nelle mani di chi gioca il gioco. Questo è, chiamiamolo in quel modo, però sì, concettualmente l'idea è quella. Quindi, e diceva giustamente, chi non ha visto tutto dal 91 ad oggi magari non si ricorda dei grossi cambiamenti, e ne ha citati diversi, il Sabbath, gli anarchici, e piano piano tutti quanti. E le cose le andremo a vedere, come ha detto, nel prossimo manuale ci saranno clan, ci saranno manuali, ci saranno dei clan che non abbiamo ancora visto, quindi siate pazienti perché di materiale in arrivo c'è, è molto interessante. L'altra domanda invece, essendo una compagnia ed essendo parte di Paradox, ovviamente hanno tutta una serie di figure competenti per trattare la community, con la quale hanno un rapporto diretto, per cui non c'è una stanza dei bottoni, anche qui parafraso, però non c'è una stanza dei bottoni, semplicemente hanno persone che si relazionano con quella che è la loro community, quindi qual è il loro pubblico. La cosa interessante che è stata detta dopo è che oltre a questo ascoltano quello che viene detto, capiscono, cioè domandano, studiano qual è il problema, qual è la questione che è venuta fuori, e di conseguenza capiscono se c'è stato un errore, e quell'errore può tranquillamente essere cambiato, modificato e andare in un'altra direzione. Questo proprio perché c'è una policy molto forte interna di Paradox, in quanto società ben strutturata, ha un reparto solo per questo argomento.
I have another question. It is about Los Angeles by Night.
Yes.
Some of that NPC were very interesting, and the question behind this is: are these NPC created by the guests, or there was a work before and then the guests take one by one the NPC?
So how I work with NPCs for the show.
Yeah.
So when I look at my story, I know I need some characters. So I knew, pick an NPC, for example. Anybody.
I don't have it right now.
It's okay. So when I know I need an NPC, we look for a player who we think is good.
Okay.
And the first thing I do is I interview the player. I find out, do you know anything about Vampire the Masquerade? How much do you know about role-playing games? Have you ever played Bloodlines? We find out what their level of knowledge is. And sometimes they know a lot about Vampire the Masquerade, and sometimes they know nothing about Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
If they know nothing, then we have to teach them about Vampire. We give them, what's the Italian word for it? Homework.
Compiti.
Yeah. So I have them read books, I have them watch videos, I have them play Bloodlines, so they get a feeling for the
So
world.
there's a preparation.
There is a preparation. I write the character, I write the background, the story, and then I write the character sheet, and then normally we meet a second time. And then after that, the player takes the character and the player develops the character from that point forward.
Okay.
So the character becomes their own.
So there's a cooperation between your creation and the other question. It's okay if he cannot answer me.
Okay.
Those NPC
Yes.
are going to be canon in this new manual. I know he's looking very bad at me. So.
It's okay. It's okay. So the LA by Night is considered mostly canon. So the events that happen will become official in the game universe.
Okay.
And so the NPCs will be included as well. There could be a few exceptions. We haven't made all the decisions yet. But in general, what you see happening will be official.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
era una domanda sullo sviluppo di Los Angeles by
Sì.
Night. Lo faccio sempre
Certo.
pseudo traduzione. Los Angeles by Night, dove ci sono personaggi non giocanti che hanno colto nel segno nel pubblico che li ha guardati, e la domanda era come vengono sviluppati, come nascono, come saltano fuori, cioè sono un prodotto dei giocatori, sono un prodotto completamente della narrazione, e quello che è venuto fuori è che c'è una cooperazione nella quale c'è una preparazione iniziale, per cui al giocatore viene dato un background scritto direttamente da Jason, gli vengono dati i compiti a casa appunto che deve fare, e dopo a quel punto, quando il personaggio è nelle mani del giocatore, il giocatore può svilupparlo tranquillamente. I giocatori e tutto il metaplot era, anche su questo ridevo in realtà perché ne abbiamo discusso ieri, e c'è una canonicità in tutto questo, perché ovviamente chi ci lavora sono un po' le stesse persone che seguono tutto quanto il progetto editoriale di Vampiri, e di conseguenza la maggior parte sarà come dire, materiale ufficiale. Canon means something different in the how do you call it, the narrator? Unreliable narration.
Unreliable narrator.
Okay.
So it's canon in that way.
Okay.
I would say something, not a question, but my congrats about your answers to the polemic of the critics to your game. That they said on internet that your game was for Nazi or neo-Nazi,
Yeah.
and I read it, and it was disgusting. And
It was disgusting.
my congrats to you for your answers. Not a question, but I read it. I wanted to congratulate.
Grazie, I appreciate it. And I don't mind
You're
talking
welcome.
about it. There is no space in our community for hate, for agendas of exclusion, for oppression, for political tyranny. They don't belong in our community. We don't want them.
Thank you so much.
That's a problem for, I think, all communities.
Yes, yes it is.
We're playing for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone, unless you're a Nazi. Then no.
So,
Se volete la traduco, perché almeno in quanto anche in Games ci crediamo molto a questa cosa.
Certo, la mia era.
Come dire, i ringraziamenti per le risposte e le posizioni prese rispetto alle critiche un po' sconsiderate, mettiamolo in questo modo.
Però sono state diffuse tanto negli
Corretto,
questo
è corretto,
sbagliatissimo.
ma il punto interessante è quello successivo, cioè all'interno del gioco di ruolo per loro non c'è possibilità di odio, non c'è spazio per odio, non c'è spazio per discriminazione, non c'è spazio per oppressione, non c'è spazio per l'esclusione delle persone da questa passione. Questo è anche quello che noi abbiamo dimostrato, insomma. Ci troviamo perennemente d'accordo. Ieri a cena non vi dico cosa è stato fuori. I'm talking about them last dinner, the dinner last night. We were talking about that a lot.
Speaking about this and speaking about this question and some of the previous ones, I was interested in the other side, since you asked him if he was going to talk about if he was interested in the community or in the how you were going to write the books. So you answered about the community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in the other side of the.
About how we're going to write the books?
So I mean, since yes, of course you have to take into account the community and try to know in advance if something is going to be controversial and stuff like that. Okay, so what I want to ask is, are you still going to address? I mean, to talk about minorities' oppression and stuff like that, using vampires to build an alternate history, but in trying not to be controversial, or are you going to avoid putting minorities and oppression and stuff like that altogether, just to be sure which
Complicated question.
Yeah.
So, I'll try to give you a simple answer. Vampire, especially, all the World of Darkness, but Vampire has always been about exploring evil. And it is about exploring evil through the monster. You play a monster. No matter how good you are still a monster. But the goal of exploring that evil is not to become a monster yourself, right? The player is not the monster. The goal is to understand evil and figure out how you can fight it in yourself, in our culture, in our society, in our world. So we explore the difficult topics as a way to hopefully make the world a better place. So we will still write about difficult topics. We will still write about oppression. We will still write about financial imbalance. We'll still write about starvation. How we do that, though, will be not through creating fictional history where vampires are responsible. Humans are always responsible for the worst evils in the world. But vampires do exploit those situations. And we will examine these topics through that lens. Does that help? Does that make sense? Yeah. I think it's very important, if you're going to talk about something like this, that you do it very respectfully. That you have a lot of respect for your audience, for your community, for your players, for your partners, for everyone. And you make sure that you do so with a dialogue that is open.
Thank you.
Non tradurla. Dunque, la domanda era su come gestire le difficoltà, insomma, i temi scottanti, come gestirli in termini di scrittura, non tanto non solo di gestione poi di comunità. E il gioco di vampiri è un gioco sul male. Questo è il primo punto chiave, ed è un gioco il cui tema principale è il male visto dagli occhi di un mostro, ma non di un mostro che fa il cattivo, ma di un mostro che deve trovare il modo di entrare in contatto con quel male e averci a che fare per avere un mondo migliore. Questo è il punto chiave. Il risultato è l'unica via che viene indicata nel manuale, anche abbastanza chiaramente, parlando con Jason altrettanto, è avere un rapporto aperto con il nostro pubblico, sia chi compra il manuale che chi gioca con noi al tavolo, che con tutte le persone con le quali parliamo di questo argomento. Questo è un po' il cuore. Anche qui ho cercato di riassumere. Ho giustamente fatto molti esempi in questa direzione, ma è un po' questo il concetto, cioè guardare con una lente diversa il male dalla parte di chi il male potrebbe esserlo e trovare un modo di averci a che fare per superare la situazione.
I should also add, please, that we think that it is always appropriate for the players to decide what is proper to talk about at their table. So if at your table you don't want to talk about a certain topic or issue, or you want to change it to make it better for your players, that's okay. It doesn't have to be the way we say.
If I may also add, or if you have questions, I don't want to monopolize. I think that, let me know if this is wrong, but I'm interested in this. One of the things that makes it really difficult to talk about these issues is that you have the unreliable narrator. Why? Because, for example, about the Chechnya thing, if someone reads just that page, that paragraphs, he or she could get the idea that the issue was that like the depression of homosexuals was just a distraction for more evil things. And so the reader could have thought like, oh, so they are saying that this is not a serious issue because it's just some distraction. But this was because it was it was the point of view of the vampires, because from that specific, of those vampires, from that point of view, that was a distraction. But it didn't mean that it is a light topic for the reader and for the writer and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly.
Well, it's an interesting discussion, but do you have a question?
No, I mean, I just wanted to, to ask if there are, okay, there is a question. Okay, maybe, did you think about making more explicit that there is the unreliable narrator thing?
No.
Okay.
No. It was a mistake. It was wrong to do it the way we did. We should never have done it that way. So, we removed it from the book. Yes. It was inappropriate and insensitive. And it was a mistake to do it no matter how we did it.
Even with the unreliable narrator?
Even with the unreliable narrator.
Mi leggo, do entrambe le risposte. L'aggiunta di prima, cioè quello che diceva era l'importante oggi è sapere quali sono i temi che il tavolo non vuole gestire, quindi che siano i giocatori a decidere cosa vogliono giocare, che non ci siano anche qui delle posizioni, che sia tutto molto aperto e molto libero. E la domanda successiva è stata su se la narrazione sfuggente, diciamo questo modo di dire, poteva essere utilizzato un narratore, sì, è che il narratore inaffidabile purtroppo poi diventa il narratore che non è in grado di gestirti, cioè basta dal tavolo, no?
No,
in quel senso
significa quello. Cioè che è inaffidabile, quando leggi non ti puoi davvero fidare che ti sia preso tutto.
È chiarissimo, è per renderlo contestualizzato, okay. Cioè il discorso è quello che hanno scritto l'hanno ritenuto sbagliato e l'hanno rimosso. Questo perché è come avere i giocatori al tavolo, questo è il parallelismo della risposta secondo me, cioè sono arrivati a un tavolo, quello di tutti i giocatori, e hanno detto questa cosa non può funzionare. I giocatori hanno detto questa roba non ci piace e loro l'hanno tolto, indipendentemente o meno che ci possa essere quella fumosità tipica dei prodotti che hanno più verità sullo stesso concetto. Questo è un po' il punto.
Focusing on morality. Morality is the thing. The new book, the fifth edition, focus on youngling, okay, youngest vampire, and the hunger mechanics and the theme linked to the hunger take a more important place. Was it a decision made some way to focusing on the perspective of the individual struggling to retain his humanity and morality, and avoiding the overpowered millennial vampire and banalizing evil? Is it trivializing evil? Because when we have a little background. In other RPGs, we have the idea that the more I play, the most powerful my character becomes.
Yes.
And sometimes it's the main goal.
Yes.
Okay. In Vampires, we don't literally have it. We have a narrative more focused thing. So we don't have to become the most powerful ancient vampire of all time. Was it on a game developer perspective an intentional way to focus on the individual trying to...
Yes. Yeah, it was very deliberate. We wanted to return to the themes of Vampire First Edition, where the individual struggle of the vampire with the beast and humanity is the focus of the game. That is the central part of Vampire. It really is the heart and soul of Vampire the Masquerade, is that struggle to maintain your humanity even though you are losing it night after night after night.
Okay.
Maybe you get to the edge, maybe you can climb back up, maybe you can't, maybe you fall. That is very deliberate for us. So we will focus, we'll have character information about elders, the millennial vampires, ancients later. But for now, we want to focus very firmly on young vampires, vampires of today, and how they have to deal with that struggle inside. And it relates back to what we were talking about, exploring evil, because that's the lens through which we explore that theme.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Il cuore del gioco è la relazione tra l'umanità e la bestia, il mantenere quel barlume di umanità nonostante si stia cadendo nel baratro della bestia. Quello è sempre stato il cuore ed è quello il motivo per cui hanno scelto di andare nella direzione di giocare vampiri giovani e che quindi possano concentrarsi maggiormente su quello che è il cuore stesso del gioco.
Sull'intimo clone magari, come si diceva ai tempi di Master.
Sì, non aggiungerei, su quello non aggiungerei oltremodo, nel senso che il cuore della meccanica è quello, cioè la bestia contro l'umanità, d'altronde tutte le meccaniche parlano di quello.
We want to connect about this, about the younglings,
Yeah.
and we want to talk about the weak blood.
The thin bloods.
The thin blood. So it was very important now, it becomes important in this manual. It's a very important part.
Yes.
So it is going to be still important inside the metaplot on the next adjournment.
Yes, the thin bloods will still be important.
Yeah.
There's something special happening with the thin bloods in the meta plot, and you will see more of that later.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I sangue debole sono un punto focale, era la domanda e la risposta è stata sì. Lo
Sì,
sono
era-
stati,
la
lo
domanda è
saranno.
se come sarebbe
Sì, lo
fatto.
saranno e ci saranno sviluppi di questo nella storia futura del metaplot della quinta edizione.
Do you know what happens when a thin blood commits diablerie?
It become a vampire.
Yeah, they become a clan.
With a clan.
So if I am a thin blood and you are a venture, and I diablerize you, I become a venture. I'm not a thin blood.
Okay.
So think about that and what I just said.
Okay.
There's no more unreliable narration.
So, yeah, thin bloods have a way out of their problem. Now imagine what happens when they figure that out.
Oh wow. Okay. No.
The system crashed down.
Error 404.
Ok.
Just one last question.
We've got 5 more minutes.
It's been 20 years
Yes.
since the last manual, since the last edition. In these 20 years, my question is, there was struggle with Expanse until you arrived to this manual. There was struggle, there was community, there was cooperation with the community. What was the feeling about all these years, and then finally it came out? What was under that? There was struggle. What was the feeling?
Is the feeling for us at White Wolf, or the feeling in the community, in the global community?
As White Wolf, and if you know something about the community also.
Sure. See if I can answer let's see if I understand your question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the White Wolf community, the World of Darkness community, is global, of course, and it includes many different points of view, and of course many regions and many countries. And I think that with this new edition V5, what we hope is that we encourage a new era of connection between the community and cooperation. And I think we are seeing that quite a lot, especially in Europe. We have a lot of communities that are talking together for the first time in many, many years. We see communities in different countries reaching out to connect with live events with LARPs. We see people coming together from different regions on Discord to create online games, online forums. I'm trying to go to as many countries as I possibly can to visit the community in those countries. And I think as we see more different kinds of games, not just role-playing games, but live games, board games, card games, maybe other kinds of media, what we hope to do is to bring that community together again and unite them in that passion.
That's great. Thank you.
Because I agree with you, it's been too long.
It's been very long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
E visto che appunto sono passati molti anni fra le due nuove edizioni e Vampiri è un gioco complesso, diciamo così, per chi è nuovo, quali sono i consigli per poterlo approcciare al meglio e per poter capire perfettamente che tipo di esperienza hanno e quindi, diciamo, divertirsi al meglio? Per i nuovi giocatori, o chi farà il master, insomma, per chi lo approccia sia da un lato che dall'altro.
Some tips for the newcomer in the community and in the game.
Some tips for people who are just arriving now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just in the community, properly in the game.
But properly in the game.
Yes, I'm starting new.
What do I do?
What do you do?
What should I do? Make some friends.
Of course.
Okay,
Of course.
I think it's about more about the meta plot and the mechanics.
And also the themes and the core of the game.
Of the game.
Since it's a strange game, it's a difficult game, you know.
From
Yes.
D&D
Okay.
or
Of course.
Call of Cthulhu. So
Okay.
I think the first thing that you do when you enter the community and you start playing Vampire, there are some very, very important things to read. In the core book, there are some very good essays about how to play together friendly, cooperation, how to talk about difficult subjects and hard topics in a very respectful, cooperative way. And a reminder that it's a game, it is not real. And so I think that's the first thing that they have to look at. But the meta plot, I think the best thing to do for a new player is to not worry about it yet. It's there, it will come and eat you soon enough. You don't need to rush. It's always going to be looming over your head like a wave on the ocean. So it is not your responsibility to read 28 years of books and know the meta plot. The important thing is to focus on creating a character that you love or that you like, and to tell stories that speak to you, that you can be passionate about and that are fun and exciting. If you do those things, all the rest of it will come. There is no need to understand everything tonight.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Farsi dei nuovi amici è stata la prima risposta a cosa. Dopodiché non preoccuparsi di 28 anni di storia editoriale, iniziare a giocare, crearsi un personaggio, divertirsi a farlo e leggere quello che c'è nel manuale, che è già più sufficiente per avere una buona conoscenza del gioco, di quali sono le sensazioni che si possono provare giocando. Il resto arriverà con calma, senza sentirsi subissati da bellissimo, it's very beautiful animation. This wave, appunto coperti da quest'onda che arriva dagli ultimi 30 anni di Vampiri.
I think it's important to point out too that we have tools now that we didn't have before. We have social media, which can bring problems, but it also is an easy way for the community to connect together. And we have Discord, we have streaming, and I think sometimes for brand new players to a game, it's very useful to watch good streaming shows to see how other people play and have fun. And it can be very helpful in understanding what the game is like.
Yes. Okay.
Quindi utilizzare la community fondamentalmente per andare ad apprendere la community in senso lato, quindi anche le produzioni che magari una piccola community fa e poter andare a vedere quindi gli altri come giocano. Questo è un altro consiglio. Vi chiediamo scusa, come dicevo prima, sono le 18 e dobbiamo scappare.
Un saluto per chi vede il video.
If you want to say hello.
Okay, who am I talking to?
A chi si sta
Al pubblico di player.it, ma anche a loro perché condivideremo tutti.
Oddio. all the community, all the Italian community.
Sì, okay. Yeah. Hello, the Italian community of the World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade. I'm Jason Carl from White Wolf. It's my great honor to be here at Modena Play as the guest of our partners, Need Games, to celebrate the launch of Vampire the Masquerade in Italian. This is very important to us. Italy has always been a very important community to White Wolf. There's a passion here for vampire, I think, that is unique and very strong and burns like the heart of the Bruja. And so it was very important to us to bring the 5th edition to Italy in the Italian language. So we're very grateful for this opportunity. And we appreciate your time, your patience, your love, and we invite you to come with us for the World of Darkness forever.
Thank you.
Okay. So good? All right.
So good.
Thank you.